Hey girl, and welcome back to Planet Her Studio, where you get the It Girl experience. In today's video, I'm just going to be doing a simple medium to long one color set. So I'm going to talk you through that process now. I first start by pushing back the cuticles with my cuticle pusher and then going in with my cuticle bit. This client in particular has really good cuticles, so I really don't even need to do these steps, but I just like to do it as like a quality insurance type of thing to just make sure I am getting every little thing off. After using the cuticle bit, I go in with my sanding bit. This is a 180 grit, and just remove the shine. Again, not only does she have good cuticles, but she has pretty good nail plates, so not much is needed. Even though she doesn't have much cuticles or dead skin on her cuticle, I should say, being the perfectionist that I am, or I like to try to be, I'm just going in and cleaning up around that area as much as possible. Again, this step is not necessarily needed when you have a client with really good cuticles like mine. After cleaning up the cuticle, then I'm just going to go in with the lint-free wipe and alcohol and clean the nail plate, removing the debris. Then I immediately go in to size the nail tips. I just always like to ensure I'm getting sidewall to sidewall. This makes sure that, of course, the nail tip stays on, but then it also helps with the application as well. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm moving as efficiently and quickly as possible, and using these nail clippers and magnets is like the best way to cut down on time. So I recommend that for sure. After cutting down the tips to the desired length, I'm going to go in with my 80/80 file to shape the tips a little bit more. I also like to use pre-shaped tips to cut down on time, but this particular client, she likes square but almost coffin tips, which I don't have. I only have square or coffin. So I just take some stiletto tips and kind of file the sides down a little bit to give it that coffin look, but still keep them square. I also love a good C curve at the free edge of the nail tip, so I am using my 80/80 file to get that look. I know some clients don't really like it. This client in particular, she doesn't love it, so I just do a really small one that she's okay with. But usually all my square sets I do a C curve. I just think it adds a nice touch to it. Next, I'm going in with my dehydrator. I like to do 2 layers of my dehydrator, and then immediately after I go in with my primer with another 2 layers. After I lay my primer down, I then go immediately in with my application. So I only work on one hand at a time. I've seen some people do both hands, which I used to do. Some people even do one finger at a time. I think it's just important to find what works for you. Now, as you can see, I'm going in with my application. I will give a disclaimer. This particular day, my application was horrible. I don't know what exactly was going on with me this day, but I definitely was struggling, which you'll be able to see with this finger and probably the next couple fingers. But that's okay. Sometimes you're going to have an off day, which doesn't mean you're horrible as a nail tech or anything. It just means you need to pay attention a little bit more to like what's causing that. And on this particular day, I realized that I wasn't being mindful of my acrylic to monomer ratio, which is really, really important. My beads were drying out a lot quicker than I could maneuver them. So then that was causing the nails to become really, really thick. And since it was so thick, I had to do a lot more filing than I would want to do. So use this as a lesson, guys, that it's really important to pay attention to how you are picking up your beads, and of course being quick enough to lay them in a timely manner to where you're able to maneuver them. So once I got to the middle finger, I was able to like get a little bit of bearing on how I was laying down the beads, and it was flowing a lot better for me. So it happens to where, you know, your first 2 nails are probably not coming out the best, but you really just have to be mindful and try to correct yourself on the spot, which is what I did. I'm still very new at this whole entire thing, so I'm learning with each set that I do. In the past, I used to do really bad on the first hand and then do so much better on the second hand. So it comes as you continue. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So just be mindful of that. after I'm done laying my acrylic, I like to go in with my 80/80 grit file again and clean up the sidewalls first. After doing that, I'm going to go in with my 5-in-1 bit to seal the cuticles. So during the process of me sealing the cuticles with the 5-in-1 bit, I like to also take that time to debulk the nail if it is a thicker nail. I obviously would only do this if it's a thicker nail because usually I'm able to get my application to where I don't really need to run the bit all over the nail. Again, I know some techs will do that regardless if it's thick or not, but that's not something that I typically would need to do unless it's just too thick, which the first 2 fingers were way too thick. And so you'll see me using that bit to run over the whole entire nail. Next, I go in with my sanding band and use that to seal the cuticles as well. And then I'll run the sanding band all over the nail as well. Now I'm going in again with my 80/80 grit file and filing the whole entire nail. affirm the C curve at the free edge of the tip. Again, this client doesn't like the deep C curve that I would usually do, which really isn't that deep, but it's too deep for her. So I just do a baby C curve on her, and I clean up the sidewalls again as well. So after this step, I would go in with a buffer and then go have the client wash their hands. So next we're just gonna go in and polish the nails, which is really simple and easy because we're only doing one color. But it is really funny because this client brought in her own polish, which is normal, people do that. So I didn't pay it any mind, but then once we actually got to the polishing portion, I looked at the bottle and I was like, this is regular polish. And she was like, no, the bottle says gel, it's gel. And I was like, no, babe, this is definitely regular polish, which is fine. I guess some people would like to do that, but it was just so funny because I grabbed the bottle and everything and didn't even realize it was regular polish until we got to that portion of the appointment. But she was really adamant about keeping that color because she really loved it. So I was like, okay, girl, we'll go with it. So now you see me just cleaning up the cuticles because with regular polish, you know, it does get stuck to your skin a lot differently than gel polish would. So I'm going in with a cleanup brush just to get that off of her skin so it can still look clean. So after cleaning up the cuticle, I would then just go in with some top coat and cuticle oil to finish up the look. And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you don't mind, if you could give me a like and comment, I would really appreciate it. I'll have more videos coming soon. Take care. Mwah.